Then Travis, almost said the old pronunciation, Travis Etienne.
Yeah, the thing I like the most about Kellen Moore's offense is very unpredictable. RPOs, he could be in bunch formation.
And now I'm waiting to put the names on here because how are we going to utilize Mr. Jordyn Tyson? Good Lord, I totally screwed this up.
Hello, welcome to Football X's and O's. We're going to talk about that new look New Orleans Saints offense in 2026. I'm Ryan Studo, and alongside me is NFL expert David Scott. David, the Saints added a lot of pieces in 2026, and they do look promising for the upcoming season.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this new offense for them, and I think they could make some noise in their division this year.
All right, let's take a closer look into that New Orleans Saints offense. Obviously, they have Tyler Shough under center, but they added Travis Etienne in free agency, and they also picked up Jordyn Tyson in the NFL draft, Oscar Delp in the NFL draft as well. So the Saints, they're looking pretty promising on paper. Last year, they didn't have really anybody other than Olave. They did have Shaheed, but then they traded him away, and the running back situation was pretty brutal last year. So talk to me about the Saints and what they did in the offseason.
I love just about everything they did. I think they really beefed up this offense to look like a competent and competitive NFL offense. Tyler Shough really surprised me last year. I was very down on him being a second-round pick. Came in, looked really good, and as the season went on, he only got better. So they've supported him by getting him some new weapons to work with. Obviously, he only had Chris Olave there. Alvin Kamara is still there, but he's kind of the shell of his former self. Bring in Jordyn Tyson to help him out. You bring in Travis Etienne. I think you're building something that's real here. I think Etienne and Kamara are going to be a nice duo, with Etienne taking most of the reps and then Kamara coming in for those receiving options. You have a true wide receiving core now with Olave and Tyson. If Tyson pans out, we know he's got some of those health concerns, but I think he should be just fine. And I think this is an offense that can win the division and make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, and they're all under Kellen Moore, who I think every single year he produces. I mean, he was with the Eagles, won a Super Bowl as offensive coordinator, with the Chargers, one of the top offenses in football. Same thing with the Cowboys. So last year, you look at the rankings, and on paper, obviously didn't look that great, but they looked a little bit better as the season came on. They had, obviously, Rattler under center, then they put in Tyler Shough. They go 5-4 under Tyler Shough, and he really looked good under Kellen Moore. And I got to say, Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator, I do like him with the Saints.
Yeah, I think the sky is the limit right now for them. If they were 5-4 with Shough with that team last year, I think with these new weapons, they could really do something. And we spoke about it a little bit before we turned the cameras on, but it's going to hinge on that offensive line. You know that they had a lot of injuries, and it's going to take them performing well to really mesh this whole unit together.
Yeah, they were just ravaged by injuries. I mean, they just couldn't get anything going. I mean, a lot of sacks. I think Rattler got sacked a lot. So not a lot of time in the pocket for the quarterbacks. And then once Shaheed got traded, they just had Olave, and that was pretty much it. Vele, stepped up here and there towards the end. So we'll talk about the offense a little bit later in terms of X's and O's. But with the offense, with Tyler Shough and company, Jordyn Tyson, that's the guy that I think we'll talk about a lot, because he was the pick at number 8. And honestly, if it wasn't for the injuries, I think he would have gone earlier. But talk to me about Jordyn Tyson and that pick. Is he going to be a star in the NFL?
Yeah, he's your X factor on this offense. A lot of the success, I think, is going to hinge on his success. We know who Olave is. We know that he can be a wide receiver 1 in the NFL. He's had his concussion concerns, but he was clean last year and had a really great season, back over 1,000 yards. And then Travis, almost said the old pronunciation. Travis Etienne had a really strong year with the Jaguars last year, gets his contract to go over to the Saints. I think we know who he is. He can be a strong running back 1 in this league. You're now looking for your secondary options, and Jordyn Tyson is a hell of a secondary option. I think when healthy, he could be the top option on any team. Now you got him in a tandem with Olave. That could be something really special and something that could really help Shough grow into a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he's so versatile. I think Kellen Moore said that the other day, that they can use him for pretty much anything they want on that offense. So you got to like that. So I think there's just, the sky's the limit, like you said. I think they could be a top 15 offense, maybe getting closer to top 10, because, with these pieces, I mean, as long as the offensive line holds it down, Tyler Shough, I will admit, he's got to throw a little bit more downfield, but I think that had a lot to do with the talent around him. But with Tyler Shough, if he throws a little bit more downfield and is successful in terms of that department, I think they can be a really good offense in 2026.
Yeah, just one step forward after another. Again, last year, week after week, he looked better and better. Now he's got a full offseason of being the number 1 quarterback. He's going to get all the number 1 reps this offseason. He's going to get all of the work with his new talent around him. That's only going to help him further. And I think once we get into week 1, we're going to see a really good offense here. And I'm just excited for what kind of looks they're going to throw out there.
All right, you talked about the looks. Let's see what the offense will look this season.
All right, let's take a look at our Saints offense here. Who are the names that we know from last year? The names that we know from last year are Tyler Shuck at our quarterback position, Chris Olave as our number 1 wide receiver, and Juwan Johnson as our tight end 1. And then I guess Vele if you want to put him in here. But I don't know where I want to put him yet, so I'm going to hold off on that. Our new additions, obviously Travis Etienne in at running back, and then Jordyn Tyson, our new wide receiver. And now I'm waiting to put the names on here because how are we going to utilize Mr. Jordyn Tyson? Because we can utilize him in a lot of ways.
I think you go outside with him, I think.
I think you could go outside or inside.
Yeah.
And so let's start with him outside.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we put him outside? And we'll throw Velio here in the slot. Why would we put Jordyn Tyson on the outside? Well, great contested catch receiver. Very good ball skills. So if we want to chuck him up the field, no problem with that. Now, as we said before, Shuck's got to work on throwing it down the field a bit more. I think Tyson is the kind of guy that could help him with that. But what else can we do with Tyson? Well, those comeback routes, because very shifty, quick out routes. Again, good ball skills when you're coming up along the sideline there. And then, well, what if we want to move Tyson into... Oh, I'm drawing all over the place. What if we want to move Tyson into the slot?
Yeah, you could do that.
Continue using that shiftiness. And quick ins, quick outs, quick slants, quick comebacks, screens out that way. A lot of different ways we can use Jordyn Tyson, which is why I would consider him our X factor in this offense. How is he going to perform? How is Kellen Moore going to think up some crazy ways to use him? But I don't think Tyson is our only X factor here. I'm going to fall over. I don't think Tyson is our only X factor here because I think the addition of Travis Etienne brings up some very exciting possibilities, and that comes in the form of who do I want to sacrifice here?
Good question.
Vele, you're off the field.
Yeah.
Sorry about it. All right. So we're going into a situation here where we have Olave on the outside. Johnson is still in, but we'll use him as a blocker. Tyson here. HN in the backfield and Alvin Kamara. This is where you can have some fun when you have two running backs with different skill sets. You throw them both in the backfield. You wouldn't run a triple option in this case, but how are we going to utilize these two in a way that we can fool the offense? Well, Kamara we know is our pass catching back, so you could deke Achane with the run and then send Kamara outside for a screen, or you could send him up through the line as well. This is getting real messy, but just work with me here. On short passes, I think this is a huge aspect of the Saints offense that they're going to be able to work on, just fooling people with their two running backs. Because while Kamara is not the, good Lord, I totally screwed this up. While Kamara is not the same running back that he used to be, he's still exceptional as a pass catching back. While he wasn't the same running back last year, I don't think anyone would contest that he was incredible catching the ball. So if we can utilize him along with Achane on the field at the same time, I think that's a pretty exciting way to utilize this new look offense. But when he's not off on the field, we're going to have a standard offense where we're going to let Olave get his run as the number one. Tyson is going to do something out there as the X factor. And then you've got Vele, Achane, Johnson to work together to give Shuck his options to work down the field.
Yeah, the thing I like the most about Kellen Moore's offense is very unpredictable. I mean, he can do RPOs. He could be in bunch formation. He could be, there's so many things that he can do. That's why only the Eagles won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. I mean, that's what I love about Kellen Moore. So for him to just have all these guys now put in place, because first year, we're just going to throw the tape away, in that first half. But once Tyler Shuck came under center, he was running with the football too. I think there was like a game he had like 40-something or 50-something rushing yards. So there are games where you're going to be seeing that sometimes too. So I feel like with Kellen Moore being unpredictable, I think that's a major reason why the Saints can win the division.
Yeah, and with Tyson, with Achane, with Kamara, with whatever, these guys who can work in multiple positions across the field, that's going to help Moore a lot with just totally fooling defenses. Tyson could be running balls, and Achane could be out in the receiving spot. There's so many different things that Moore could do with his new weapons that I think he's going to have so much fun with.
Yeah, you can also have Tyson block. I don't think fantasy owners want to see him
No.
blocking, but he can also block. He actually said that the other day that he wants to see him block as well, and he's looked good in that department. But I think you said it. He's an X factor, Tyson. But man, we want to see him healthy. We just haven't seen the healthy like Tyson throughout a whole season. So I think that's what's going to come down to in terms of this offense being really good. Because obviously you still have Olave. Etienne was a really good move, but I feel like with Tyson, you only drafted him in the top 10. If he's playing 4 games this year, I think this is just going to be a brutal season for them. But I just feel like if Tyson is playing at least 14, 15 games this year, I think, like we said it a bunch of times, I think this offense can be high-powered.
Yeah, I think the fact that the Saints picked him with the number 8 pick means that they're confident in his health. Because as we got closer and closer to the draft, I feel like he was slipping down boards, and then he still gets picked with that number 8 spot. So I think they saw his medicals. They were confident in him being able to stay on the field, no chronic injuries or anything like that. So that would give me faith in him being on the field. Obviously, anything can happen, and there could be another aggravation or another freak injury or whatever. But I think if you pick him at number 8, you're confident that he's going to be on the football field.
Yeah, in terms of offense goes, everyone's healthy, include that offensive line. They can be a top 15, maybe close to top 10 offense. The defense a little bothers me a little bit. They don't have Davis now. Demario Davis went to the Jets. Cameron Jordan they won't have. So that defense I'm still a little bit suspect with. But do you think they still can overcome that defense? Which, honestly, if that defense isn't that great, but in that division, I mean, there's nothing that really bothers you. Opposing offenses like the Bucs, they had a downturn at the end of the year. The Panthers are always going to be mediocre in terms of offense. A lot of offenses in the NFC South really don't jump out at you. So the defense bothers me a little bit, but do you think the Saints can overcome that for the upcoming season?
Yeah, the Saints are my pick to win the NFC South. I think they are growing into the role as the best team in this division. I don't think the Panthers are that good. They kind of just lucked their way into winning that division at an 8-9 record. The Buccaneers are all over the place, and the Falcons' quarterback situation is just atrocious.
Yeah.
So I think the Saints are the most well put together team right now. I think they're very solid and have a good core. And I think if they continue to stay healthy and continue to grow and mesh well together, I think they'll have no trouble winning this division.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with the Panthers, even though they just won the division. I mean, not that it's saying much. They were 8-9, but I don't know. I think the offense looks okay off the surface, and I think I think Monroe Freeling, I think they got as offensive linemen, so they're going to look better in terms of that department. I got the Panthers, but right next to it, them, I think, is going to be the Saints. I think the Saints, offensively, I trust Kellen Moore a lot more than a lot of opposing coaches. Todd Bowles, I mean, the fact that he's still there, is really interesting to say the least. But I got to say, coaching-wise, I think the Saints have it with Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I think it's up and up for them, step forward after step forward after step forward, and I think they're just going to continue to grow this year, which is why I'm confident in them winning it.
All right, let's wrap things up here. Football X's and O's. You can watch us every Monday. We also have other offseason content. Please like and subscribe and let us know in the comments what you make of the Saints. Will they win the division in the 2026 season?